Yeah, baby! We just made the fucking Chiefs pay for our fucking house, our AFC. They gotta play us. That's what I'm about to say. They gotta fucking play us, baby. Let's go. They gotta play us.
In the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite in Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every game day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tiger stripe the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin', who that? Time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati, jungle fitted. Blue day in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we live it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Whole day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move closing on? Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock them, yeah, we got them, yeah, we fought them. Like that black and orange up on them. Bingo bottle, never stop it till the beast.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the AFC champion. Don't you forget that, Browns fan. AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals, soon to be Super Bowl champs, because we're on a burner. Just saying. All right, guys, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are freaking awesome. I hit 2,000 subscribers yesterday. I appreciate every single one of you. Now, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter and you still haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, why not? What are you waiting on? Go to the YouTube channel, Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for notification. Every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you got something that you're dying to ask my very special guest today, Thom Brennaman, give me a super chat. Also, we got Bengal Dad on for Rally Around the Natty. If you got something you want him to ask, give us a super chat. I'd appreciate it. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave. And the Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out the website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And as you know, I wear this and rep it every single day. We got the Jackpot Joey stuff. If you want any of the hats or hoodies or flag, go to jackpotjoey9.com. Also, you can go to pretty much any store and get our delicious tasting Jackpot Joey beer. It's not only delicious, but it's also award-winning. It has won, pop this up here. I said this a million times. You guys probably all can say it with me. The gold medal for American Light Ale this year of the newest beer. So make sure you go check it out. Remember, portions of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund and the Joe Burrow Fund. So you're not only wearing some cool stuff, drinking some delicious award-winning beer, you're helping people out. So help us out. And one more thing real quick before we get to the show. We have Betfred. If you guys have not heard, sports betting will be legal here in Ohio come January 1st. It's going to be so easy. It'll be on your phone. Now, what I need you to do is go to that link down below. betfredsports.com/Ohio/Bengals_boys2. Sign up there. They give you a free $20 bet plus chance to win Bengals tickets plus chance to win their big blowout New Year's Eve party they're going to have at the Fulling Warehouse. It's going to be a blast. Pretty sure I'm going to be there. If you want to come see me, hang out, drink a couple beers, it'll be fun. Anyway, enough with that stuff. Let's get First of all, hold on. Let me get my co-host here. Let's get the Bengal Dad here real quick. He's the co-host. I got to bring him in first. I got to make you guys keep waiting for Thom. Hold on a second here. Wait here. What's up, Bengal Dad?
How you doing, Ice? This is awesome.
Man.
Who Day, another great Bengal week.
Exactly. All right. You ready to co-host this thing? You ready to do this thing with me with Thom Brennaman? All right. Let's get to the one, the only Thom Brennaman. What's up, my man?
What's going on, fellas? It's good to be on with you tonight. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. No problem. No problem. I appreciate you doing this. And shout out to you for you tell me off air you played my victory lap last night or yesterday on your show where I took a spill.
Well, I mean, I did. And, it was great video. And I talked about it today. And Zim Hude was the one that got us together here. And I'm still in a state of shock that guy is banned on Twitter right now. I mean, with some of the trash they're putting on Twitter, I just read an article 2 days ago before it happened to Zim that there was some petition by this mom and dad. I don't know if you guys saw the story where, their child who's under 18 was in some over 18 was in some sexually explicit sort of video thing. And they had called Twitter and said, hey, could you please take this down? It's embarrassing, humiliating, hurting my kid, blah, blah, blah. They say, no, can't do it.
Seriously, but they take Zim.
They're banning Zim Hude.
That's ridiculous. I mean, so all Bengals fans, Bengal Nation, just keep retweeting free Zim. I mean, I don't know what else to do. I mean, honestly, that's what I keep doing. I just found out, like I said, I work at UPS, so it's Christmas time, and I'm starting way early, so I can't even watch your show. I didn't even, when the season, normal time, I could stay up and watch it, but I didn't get to watch your show right now, and I didn't even know Zim was off till last night. I'm like, what? I didn't hear it because people posted free Zim. I'm like, what the hell happened? So I went to his page. I'm like, holy crap, it's suspended. I'm like, what happened? They're like, Browns fans. I'm like, get out of here. I mean, look, Browns fans, are you serious? I understand we beat you. That was your Super Bowl, and you lost. Get over it. Your team sucks. I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's Twitter. Give me a break. Anyway.
Freeze him.
Exactly, freeze them. All right, Bengal.
Hey, by the way, I used to work in the winter when I'd get on break from college during college and high school. I used to ride on a UPS truck and work as a helper for the driver.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great gig, man. Paid good money.
Oh yeah, you make some good money, dude. You like for us. I'm too old to do it anymore, but we can work in the warehouse and then go do that. And those are some long freaking days, but you make a lot of money.
Yes, you do. Yeah, but, they were long days.
Yeah, extremely long. All right, I've done a lot of talking here. Let's get the Bengal Dad. I know he's got some things that he wants to ask you. We'll get it started with him.
Yeah, I got a few questions here. I think there might be some things that people would like to get your point of view on. Very, very, very easy, normal questions. Just your favorite sport to call, because you've called many, many different sports. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite sport?
Football, without a doubt. There's just something about, whether it was, a few years I've done college football or the pro game. You're talking about, once a week. I was lucky. And it really, it doesn't matter whether you're the number one team, number two team, maybe. And there were a few years I was the number two team there at Fox, but most years right there, 2 or 3. So, by this time of the year, the last 4 or 5 weeks, you were still getting really good games and important games. And so you show up once a week, the crowds are unbelievable. There's great anticipation, more times than not, sellout crowds. It's just really, really exciting to be a part of it and around the whole environment. I mean, I love baseball and I really love basketball, college basketball, but football is the game. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
Was there a favorite game or a favorite moment, something that you are proud of the way you called it?
The one I look back on, and I think that it was just such a shock. You guys are barely old enough to remember this, but any younger than you guys, and it's a little foggy probably. But remember the year in the Fiesta Bowl when Boise State beat Oklahoma, and back in those days at Fox, we had the rights to the BCS, so I was doing one of the the secondary games, for lack of a better term, 7 days before the national championship game. And, Boise State's playing Oklahoma. Oklahoma had Adrian Peterson. They had Gerald McCoy. They had an NFL team. Mm-hmm. And in Boise State, this was before Boise State became Boise State. It was this game they became Boise State, where you know them each and every year. But it was the first time that a school out of the major conferences had been to a major bowl game. And, we went out to Boise and we're interviewing their center, who weighed like 255 pounds. And he's going up against Gerald McCoy, and Chris Peterson, who later went on to coach Washington, was the head coach at Boise State then. And I remember we got finished with meeting with those guys. And I remember with our producer at the time, a guy named Mike Burke. And I said to him, I said, we both know they have no chance, but they think they have a chance. Mm-hmm. And it was the most unbelievable game I've ever seen. It was back and forth. Boise State got up. Oklahoma, as you thought they would, came back, took the lead late. Then all of a sudden, Boise's driving down the field. 30 seconds left in the game, 4th and 21. They throw this, catch and lateral, hook and lateral that goes down for a touchdown. They go for 2. They do a Statue of Liberty play. And then the guy who ran it in, the running back, he asked his girlfriend, who's a cheerleader, to get married right on the field. It was an unbelievable night. It was a lot of fun to be there.
Yeah, it was. I remember watching that. That was ridiculous. I was just like, "Are you kidding me? They're going to actually beat Oklahoma?"
Yeah, and it was funny. It was funny because when the hook and ladder, they run it all the way down to like the 3, and they go first down, they go second down, they go third down, they don't get in, and now it's 4th down, and they're behind by 6, and on 4th down, they hand it off to a wide receiver who takes a handoff, and he throws a pass to the end zone, touchdown. So Peterson immediately, he's going to go for 2. I'm working with Barry Alvarez at the time, legendary Wisconsin football coach. He was the third man in the booth with Charles Davis and me. And while the crowd's going crazy, I take off my headset. I point to Barry. I said, "Take off your headset, push the mute button." And I said, "What would have happened if your offensive coordinator, when you were a head coach, on 4th and goal, would have had the wide receiver or the running back, whatever it was, throw the pass on 4th down?" He said, "I would have said in my headset that his ass was fired right on the spot before the play even got to the field." It was really a cool sequence there.
Yeah, that was, like I said, that was an unbelievable play here. Let's get to back to the Bengals and Browns here. Now, that game, it seems like the Browns have had our number, and it's annoying. And everybody comes on here like, "Why can't we beat the Browns? Why can't?" I'm like, I kept saying Myles Garrett. I mean, he was a game wrecker for us, and because the first time Jackpot Joey played him, he balled out in his rookie year. If we had a defense, we would have probably beat him the first game out. Last year, the end of the season, the Bengals didn't care. That's so I'm throwing. So two of the games, I'm like, I can't explain why we lost. What is it like, you think, for the Bengals to finally get that monkey off their back, to finally beat the Browns, and Joe Burrow to finally win?
I think it's a big deal. One, because they needed to win this game to keep pace with Baltimore in the division. So it was a very important game for them in the here and now. Right. As far as the big picture goes, look, you're going to play them twice a year. And, by the grace of God, Burrow's not going anywhere for the next decade. And you want to get that off your back. And just know you can beat them, and that you have beat them, and that you plan on beating them the rest of the time you're the quarterback, now that you've got that first one under your belt. That was a big win for him and for the team. The guys that I do my show with, one of the guys that's on the show with us, Casey McAllister, used to say all the time after the Bengals beat Tennessee this year, and he kept saying over and over, "Well, we're in the heads of Tennessee," or "We were in the heads of Tennessee before the game even started," when they played them a couple of weeks ago. And I used to say to him, I'm like, "Dude, you can't have it both ways. You can't say the Bengals are in the heads of the Titans and the Browns aren't in the heads of the Bengals."
Right.
I think they were in their head a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I thought it was important for them to win that game. Don't you think they were in their head a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. I think it was more just pissed off at, like, why the hell can't we beat these guys?
Well, that
You
might
know?
be true too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think one thing that was in the heads of the Bengals is they finally had a first drive where they didn't throw a pick.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it
that's
happened
right.
with the 102-yard touchdown return.
Yeah.
And then you had the one on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
So they finally, not that they finished the drive with a score, but at least they stayed clean.
Yeah, I think Dan Horde, when we had him on the show, the radio play-by-play voice of the Bengals and the Bearcats, I think he had the stat that, and you guys may already know this, I didn't know it. He said that that Burrow, going into that game, in his career had thrown 5 red zone interceptions. 3 of the 5 were on the first series of a game against Cleveland. It's pretty hard to believe.
Yeah. I mean, I think, well, if you look at Burrow's stats too, I think he's the number 1 ranked quarterback in the fourth quarter this year.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll be honest, the beginning of the Browns game, Joe wasn't looking that good. He was off. Now TB's out in the first, couple plays of the game. So I'm sure that had a lot to do with it, trying to, figure out, oh crap, what we're going to do. But to me, that goes to the depth of this team. And Trenton Irwin and Trent Taylor step up. I mean, Trent Irwin on that flea flicker, they said he didn't even practice it. T. Higgins was in there all week. And Trenton to go in there and run it perfectly, that goes to the commitment of, I think, of this team and Trent Irwin of how, next man up, they're ready to go. I think that's great, the depth of this team.
Well, I've always thought for a number of years now, even going back to the days when Marvin was there, that the most valuable person in the Bengals franchise is Duke Tobin.
Mm-hmm.
I really think this guy knows what he's doing. He may not have the title as general manager, but he's the general manager. Yeah. And, you look at their team this year, and not only Irwin and Taylor, like you talked about, no doubt you're spot on, but, you look at tight end. They brought in Hurst. Sample goes down very early in the year, okay? And now Wilcox has stepped in and done a great job. You go on the defensive side of the ball where, they had Reader out for a long time, and the guys behind him did an excellent job. Awuzie goes down, and they find a way with Cameron Britt and Taylor Britt and some other guys that have filled in. You look at the long snapper, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they bring in the guy who was the best guy in college last year from Pitt. He's their backup guy when Harris goes down. You look at Drew Chrisman, the punter. I mean, Huber was not having a good year. Chrisman's been sitting there on the practice squad. How in the world he stayed on the practice squad is just beyond me,
right.
Well, but I mean, the point is you have a new, long snapper, you have a new punter, you have a new holder because Chrisman's doing that rather than Huber. So their depth has just been Pirine and the job he did when Mixon's been out or playing even when Mixon is in there. It's astounding how good their depth is.
Now, one thing you brought up there that I like banging this drum is, I think, my opinion, one of the most, if not the most important guy on the defense, I think the whole thing runs through him, is DJ Reader. I mean, when he's on the field, he makes such a difference. I know he's not a pass rusher, but he takes 2 guys every time, and more often than not, he's pushing them forward, or they're on the ground. That frees up the H-boys around the side, Joseph Osai, and that creates more of the pressure for the pass rush on the quarterback, makes it easier on the secondary. What's your thoughts on DJ, and do you think he has a shot at getting a Pro Bowl? Because he doesn't get the accolades that I think he deserves.
Well, something's really wrong if he doesn't go to the Pro Bowl, because there aren't 3 defensive tackles in football that are better than this guy. Now, I know he's missed some time this year, and I don't know if in selection to the Pro Bowl, I don't know how much that is taken into account or penalizes a guy, whatever it might be. But he is just a great player. I mean, he's great against the run. You're right about his ability to collapse the pocket by just his push in the interior of an offensive line. He bats down passes. He apparently is a great leader of that defense inside the locker room and inside the huddle. There's not a more deserving player, and that's anybody you want to name. I mean, you can name Myles Garrett, you can name Micah Parsons, you can name everybody. There's not a more deserving player to be in the Pro Bowl on any team in football this year than DJ Reader.
I agree with that completely. Go ahead, Bengal Dan. What do you got?
Well, I was you're talking about their defense. I think somebody that doesn't. I hate when they say they don't get credit, but you don't hear Lou Anarumo's name enough. I mean, the defenses and the schemes that he devises to shut down some of the best players, the best offensive teams in the NFL, it's extraordinary to me, because it's not like the Bengals have a team of Pro Bowlers on defense. It's the scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy, he needs to get all the credit that can be thrown at him.
Well, I think it's going to ultimately lead to him getting a head coaching job somewhere. I mean,
And
he's been that good. And you know what? Look, the natural reaction is a guy you'd hate to lose. I mean, that's true. Of course, you'd hate to lose him. But you know what? That's what you root for. He's a good guy. I've had a chance when I was still calling NFL games to do a number of Bengal games. Right when he came on board, the defense was not playing well then. They did not have good players. They had bad teams in Zach Taylor's first couple of years there. But, you could tell he was very confident in what he was doing, or at least what he was trying to do, playing shorthanded. And you're right. You just look at the last three games, and whether it was Tennessee and Derrick Henry, who was coming off an incredible game the week before they played the Bengals, when he, and a great player. Then all of a sudden you got Patrick Mahomes, and he's shifting gears to rushing 3, dropping 8, where they had success last season defending Kansas City. And then last week against Cleveland, where he expected them to be able to run the ball because they did the first time, and they couldn't this time. Now, Reader was there this time. Reader was not there the last time. That's a big difference. Point I'm making, though, is that you're right. He finds a way, and I just love the mantra that it's not about yards, it's about points. So teams want to go up and down 20-20 and move the ball on you. Okay. I mean, you'd prefer they didn't, but okay. But what happens inside the 20? And once they get inside the 20, the Bengals, if they aren't the best, they're the first or second best red zone defensive team in the NFL this year. And that's how you win games. You hold teams to field goals instead of touchdowns, and with their offense, you're going to win games.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about my boy here. Jackpot Joey, which that's what you guys start calling him on your show, Tom. You guys start calling him Jackpot Joey.
Jackpot. Okay, all right.
It's a thing now. It's a thing. Right. Actually, they did a graphic in Paul Brown, in Paycor Stadium of Jackpot Joey for us, which was cool as hell. They did a slot machine, and you pulled the slot machine.
Oh, that's cool.
It spun around. All Joe's faces came up that said Jackpot. I'm like, sweet.
So what are you doing? You selling that stuff?
Yeah, we sell hats, hoodies. Like I said, we have the beer. So all the beer's delicious, man. It's good.
I'm a beer drinker, so I'll try it.
We will get you some. After we get out of here, I need your address. I'll send you some gear and some beer too, so you can.
Just partake the beer. You can send me the beer. It's great.
I want you to wear the hoodie on the show.
Man. I'll wear the hoodie on the show.
There you go. So anyway, portion of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund.
Yeah.
And Zim, I explained. Zim was trying to tell you this on the show the other day. Matty Myers is the one who came up with the nickname. He's got it trademarked and all that. So he got with me about beginning of last year, because I was calling him Joe some other name. And no, his name's Jackpot. His name's Jackpot. I'm like, what do you keep calling him Jackpot? What are you talking about? And all of a sudden he goes, it's trademarked. I'm like, all right, cool. You trademarked it. I'll call it Jackpot. So then we've hit it off from there. So we've raised between the three of us, it's 3 guys basically, about over $1,000 so far for the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund. So not a lot of money.
I got this sweatshirt on right here, Ohio University. Of course, the Joe Burrow, the foundation that he raised so much money when he won the Heisman Trophy was for the Athens Food Bank in Athens, Ohio. Yep.
Exactly. So it goes to the exact same thing. So it's like I said, it's a small part that we can do to help. So
that's fantastic.
Exactly. So speaking of Joe, where is he at on the MVP race here? I mean, I think Jalen Hurst is going to have the lead on him right now. But if we win out, and we need Kansas City to lose to take the number 1 overall seed. But if we win out and Joe balls out the rest of the season, is there enough time left for him to take over? the MVP race, or you think Jalen's got it wrapped up now?
It's a good question. I mean, you have 4 weeks left, and you have some very, very important games coming up. I don't know how many important games Philadelphia is going to play, but they're going to have another game against Dallas. They're going to have another game inside their division somewhere, if not 2 others. So I mean, they're 12-1. There's a real strong chance, they win another game. They probably can go ahead and start resting some of their starters as you get near the end, like the Bengals did their last game of the year last year. Right now, it's a landslide. Hurts would win the award without a doubt, because the way he's run it and the way he's thrown it, and he's been the best player on the best team. Now, do I believe that you have 4 weeks to change that? I do. I think it's going to take one of those deals where the Bengals have to go 4-0. They're going to get a lot of major big-time pub for some of these games they're playing. They're the back end of the doubleheader. CBS's #1 game this week. The following week, you're playing against New England. The next week, you're playing on Monday Night Football against the Bills. Then the last game of the year, you could be playing for a divisional championship against Baltimore. That more than likely would be a 4:25 game as well on CBS. So, he's got a chance, but he's going to have a miracle finish, and Jalen Hurts is going to have to somehow, some way stub his toe, and maybe the Eagles lose 1 or 2.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I have money on him winning the MVP, so I'm hoping I'm hoping that happens, but we'll see what happens. Now, I had a couple of questions here, comments in here, and a lot of people are asking your thoughts on the O-line, especially since after the bye week. You think it's a top 5 O-line? I mean, they've been playing a hell of a lot better than they did the first 2 games.
They're playing really good. I mean, they're playing really, really good. I was very critical of Zach Taylor the first week and the second, even before the season started, for not playing those guys together at least a little bit in the preseason, and facing quote unquote live bullets preseason, albeit. I just thought, and based on just hanging around and listening to different football people through the years, that universally you would hear that offensive lines take the most time to gel because of the communication and knowing the guy next to you, and they had 4 brand new guys, and one of them being a rookie, and so and they played like it. I mean, they stunk the first 2 games, but as every game has gone on, they get better and better at protecting Burrow. I wish they gave that line more of a chance to run it more frequently, because I think that they are capable of being an outstanding offensive line in the run game. There have been moments, but not a ton. But yeah, I mean, right now, everybody's healthy. They're playing really, really well. The rookies gotten better. Collins took a lot of heat early. The one guy that, from time to time, but that's part of being a left tackle that seems to struggle is Williams. But, it's hard to argue with what he's done by and large since he became a starting left tackle. Do I think he's one of the top 5 or 10? No. But, I mean, there are games he plays like a top 5 or 10 guy. But the rest of that group,
that's what's so frustrating about him, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. It's very frustrating. And I would not be surprised at all when his contract comes up, that rookie deal, which I think is after next year. I would not be surprised to see the Bengals start to explore some options on what they're going to do at that spot.
All right. Bengal Dad, you got anything else? I know you had a list. I've been doing a lot of talking here, so I want to let you get in.
No, I kind of want to move off the Bengals for just a moment. I want to do a little player word association with Tom and just get your first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
You know how this works. Jay Bruce.
Oh. Cared.
Joey
and
Votto.
that means about everything. He cared about being a great player. He cared about his team. He cared about his teammates. He cared about his family. Good guy, Jay Bruce.
All right, I'm gonna ask you one, then I'm gonna come back to this one at the end. Joey Votto.
Ultimate grinder. That's 2 words. Grinder.
Grinder. Eric Davis.
Electrifying.
Pete Rose.
Tough.
Marty Brennaman.
Dad.
Just dad. All right, I want to ask you something about Joey Votto. and this is strictly from a fan's point of view.
Yeah.
It seemed to me that for probably 75 or 80% of Joey Votto's career, he was an enigma, that he really didn't associate with fans. He was, I don't know, borderline, like not almost like he was on the spectrum. I have a son that's autistic. It just seemed a little bit like disconnected, is what it seemed like to me. But the last 3 or 4 years, something's changed. And I don't know if it's a realization of what he really has and what he's not about to have and trying to enjoy. Just want your point of view on that.
You know, one of the lines that I heard, there was a guy, much like Bernie Stowe was to the Reds, longtime clubhouse guy,
legend.
The Chicago Cubs had the same thing. Japanese fella named Yoshi Kawano, the home clubhouse in Chicago at Wrigley Field is named after him. He was a very wise man, really wise, thoughtful, deep thinking, paid attention, quietly went about his job. Very different personality than Bernie Stowe. Till you got to know him. And in the 6 years I was there, I got to know him quite well. And he used to have a saying that was something to the effect: just when guys realize they should start to say hello, it's time to say goodbye. And I've never forgotten that. And I think that's what's happened with Joey Votto. I'm not going to claim to know Joey Votto very well. I don't. I've been around him a lot, but I don't know him well at all. And never will know him that well at all. I think a couple of things there are, one, I think there's, a lot to be said about a young man's upbringing. And I think his upbringing is unique. He's Canadian. And Canadians are a little bit different. I think their culture is a little bit different, even though we're on the same, we're on North American soil. The United States and Canada are two very different countries. And so you start with that. Then you take into account that he's generally a very shy, reserved guy. He's very smart. He's very thoughtful. He has very interesting things to say. He has very interesting opinions about things. But it took him a long time, like you said, to get there. But if I were a betting man, I think you're spot on. I think that, you're getting near the end. It's been about the last 2 years, I think, where you've really seen it, where he's going to high school football games. And the only reason he went is because he was hurt. He would have preferred not to go to the high school football game, but he was hurt. So he couldn't finish the season. But now you'll see him do things with fans in the stands and all this, sit in the stands, and all that kind of thing. And so I think he's starting to the lights coming on that, I got 1 year left in this town, or 2 years left in this town, and I've been here my whole career, and I don't want to walk out the door with me being a stranger to them or them being a stranger to me.
Exactly. Now we got a couple. It's already 30 minutes. You told me you give me 30 minutes. I got one quick thing I want to get your thoughts on. I just found out this right before we went on Twitter. George Vogel, the lonesome one, has announced his retirement. I remember you guys back in the 80s when you were at Channel 5 doing the head-to-head high school football. Yeah, you guys cracked me up when you did that. I love that. What and this is making me feel old because, like I said, George is the last of the local sportcasters that I grew up watching. What did George Vogel, what has he meant to you, friend-wise, relationship-wise, working-wise? Just some thoughts about George.
George Vogel is one of those unique people that it doesn't matter who meets him, you love him. My first job out of college was off the air. I was the weekend producer at Channel 5. George at the time was not on the air. He was the Monday through Friday producer for Steve Fizioc was the anchor at the time. He left. And shortly thereafter, Ken Brew came in. Mm-hmm. So George and I spent so much time together. I had a chance to get on the air as the weekend anchor. George slowly started getting on. Ken left, and they had some people that were kind of coming in and out. And then they finally realized, this George Vogel's a likable guy just as a person. Why wouldn't he be a likable guy on television? And he knew everything there was to know about Cincinnati and Cincinnati sports, high school, college. He's a UC guy, professional sports, the Bengals, the Reds. He covered them all. And they put him on the air. And, I mean, every time I see him, it's just an immediate smile that goes on your face. He is just the best. And it's funny you bring that up because I just read that 2 minutes before we started this show tonight.
Exactly.
And I was getting ready to give him a call and just tell him congratulations. He is an awesome guy.
Exactly. Well, Tom, you said 30 minutes. I'm 5 minutes over. I apologize. But real quick, tell everybody about Off the Bench with Thom Brennaman and Chatterbox Sports before I let you go so we can promote that for you.
Yeah, so we're on every day from 10 in the morning until noon. It's basically a combination of the local sports show, certainly more slanted towards local sports, some national stuff. We're on every single day, 10 to noon. You can go either to Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube /Chatterbox Sports. Look up the Chatterbox Sports page. And we're there every single day. We talk a ton about the Bengals. We've been lucky to have regulars on the program that a lot of people in town know about, whether it's Paul Doherty or Tracy Jones. We have Brian Billick comes on to talk about, sort of the national perspective of different topics in the NFL. And then we have a big interview, we call it, every Wednesday where, I go through this Rolodex of people that are still talking to me. Even 2.5 years later. And so we've been lucky to have people like, Bob Huggins and Urban Meyer and the list of Anthony Munoz goes on. And so I'd invite anybody, if you have time, you can also podcast it by just looking up wherever you find your podcast, Off the Bench with Thom Brennaman. And you don't have to watch it. You can just listen to it.
Either way, it's awesome. I usually, like I said, I would have listened last night. When I go to work tonight, I'm going to listen. Of all nights, I forgot my freaking earbuds. You were talking about my victory lap. Like,
that's right.
So right. I'll make sure I got 2 shows to listen. I got yesterday's and today to listen to, but I will make sure
I can't remember though, Strawberry Ice, if I said it today or yesterday. It was one or the other. I know for sure when I got your video.
I'll listen to both of them. So
all right, man.
Anytime you talk about me, I'm all about that.
Amen.
All right, Tom. I appreciate you, man. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Absolutely. Bengal Dad, Strawberry Ice, thanks for having me. Merry Christmas to you guys.
Merry Christmas. Great to have you on.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. That was pretty cool.
That was cool. That was really, really cool.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Did you get all your questions? You got the answer?
Oh, yeah. That's more than enough. I hated it because it sounded kind of like an interview, but
well, it was.
Well, but I didn't want to make it sound like that.
Either way, my thanks to Tom and my thanks to Bengal Dad for jumping on here. Well, since I got you on here, tell everybody about Rally. This is usually Centauri day.
Yeah, it's usually my son Santori. It's Cincy James. It's Greg. We're I guess 7:00 on Monday nights, 7:00 on Wednesday nights. It's almost all dominated by the Bengals.
Yeah, pretty much all right now.
Yeah, my son is he's just Mr. Deep Dive into all the technical analysis of football, and Cincy James is a stat guy, and of course we have all the Lutherisms with Greg, where he compares all these different players to food. And I just kind of like I may have 5% of the show where I'll just inject something here or there, or I'll get mad about something. I think I just give it the old man, old school perspective. I should have thanked Tom. He was acting like he was older than me. I'm not sure Tom is older than me, but I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, he was saying, I don't know if you guys remember this. I'm like, the Fiesta Bowl? Hell yeah, I remember that. Like I told him before we started the show how old I was. Like, can you not see the gray in my beard? Yeah, I'm old. Anyway, Bengal Dad, I appreciate it. I'm definitely gonna have to have you back on the show sometime. This has been a lot of fun.
It was fun. I appreciate it.
No problem. Hooday.
Hooday.
All right, guys. Like I said, I hope you enjoy. That's one of the coolest interviews I've got to do. I've watched Thom Brennaman my whole life. Like, honestly, like I said, I talked about the head-to-head that him and George Vogel did in high school. If you guys don't remember, it was high school football. They pick a game of the week, and Tom would pick one school, and George would pick the other one, and they do different talking trash back and forth. It was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it back then. So it was cool having Thom Brennaman on. It's a my daughter-in-law. I told my daughter-in-law, my son-in-law, they're on a cruise, so I got to hold him today. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna have Thom Brennaman on today," and my daughter-in-law goes, well, "That's great. Can you get his dad on?" I'm like, "One Brennaman at a time. Let's see. Let's see. We'll see how this one goes first." Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let's get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream, and I appreciate every single one of them. They are Who Dey Nation, Who Dey Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar, and then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trenopole. TikTok is at Iceman90. Zim Who Dey. We got to get this dude back on Twitter. I don't know what we can do about it other than just keep tweeting out free Zim. I think he's complete bullcrap. I don't know what they think he said, but that's my dude. He's always got Who Dey Nation's back. So we need to have his flood Twitter with free Zim. We got to get him back on Twitter. Who Dey Nation needs it. YouTubers. Unbelievable. I am at 2,000 subscribers. I appreciate you guys. Like I've said this a million times. If it wasn't for you guys, watch the show, comment, and the comments are blowing up. I appreciate it. Sorry I couldn't get to everybody's. I only had so much time with Tom, and I had certain things that I was going to get to, and Bingo Dad want to get to, and so I apologize for not getting everybody's comment, but I do appreciate you guys commenting, watching the show. Like I said, follow me on Twitter. I'm over 3,000 Twitter followers. I mean, that's ridiculous. I have 2,000. You guys are awesome. Who Dey Nation, Cincinnati fan base is awesome. Thank you. So if you missed any of the interview with Thom Brennaman and you don't have time to sit there and watch it, you can always listen to it on the podcast, just like you can do off the bench. It's on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please, on Apple Podcasts, please make sure you rate, like, and review. Give me a 5-star review. I would greatly appreciate it. Tomorrow, I have Brandon Soho, former sports anchor for Channel 5. He has his own podcast right now. It's also through Chatterbox. So I got back-to-back Chatterbox guys. I had Tom on today. I have Brandon Soho on tomorrow. So I hope you guys check that out. I'm flying to Tampa on Saturday. Please, real quick, please keep my mother-in-law in your thoughts and prayers. There's just a lot of stuff going on right now. I'll leave it at that. She needs prayers bad. She's doing okay. Just things are happening. I'll just leave it at that. Other than that, say it with me, people. That's just sports, baby. See ya!
In the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black, and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, Who Dey, we ignite in Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Who Dey, when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, everything day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin' Who Dey, time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who Dey in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes be tatted on the jungle when we flex that Who Dey muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Who Dey, when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who got 'em, who rockin' on? Stripes. Now who want 'em, who tossing on? Stripes. Now who